deduction, which are probably the two most important deductions in our country today, and simply use that, which means you can fill your taxes out on a postcard. Here's how much I made, subtract my mortgage, subtract my charity, and then what's left, pay 15% or hopefully 10 to 12%. That is not bad if you can get it passed by a Republican and Democratic Congress with a lot of pressure and a lot of veto power from a Libertarian president and vice president.
Right. And again, it is great to be able to debate these two topics between the flat tax and the fair tax. I think they both have a lot of pros and cons. But one thing is for sure is that they both are clearly better than the system that we have now, and unfortunately are going to be stuck with as long as Republicans and Democrats are still in office.
Right. And the problem is that, look, I call the Republicans and the Democrats big and bigger, dumb and dumber.
Yeah.
They just, try and outdo each other who can give away the most legal bribes. And that's the problem. It just, all that changes when you elect a Republican versus a Democrat is who the bribe goes to. But they both believe in major welfare and major corporate welfare. If you elect a Democrat, they tend to give away your taxpayers' money, but they give it away to law firms and environmental groups and teachers' unions and unions in general. And if you elect a Republican, they give it to oil companies and pharmaceutical companies and defense contractors and lots of corporate welfare like big farmers, but they're all giving your money away. And all I say is let's end corporate welfare as we know it. Let's try and end welfare as we know it, and let's give that gigantic tax cut just back fairly and evenly to every person that's paying the taxes in the first place. Then you wouldn't need special interest tax cuts.
Excellent. Excellent delivery there, Wayne Allyn Root. Very proud of you. Very proud that you are carrying the banner of Vice President for the Libertarian Party. I'm going to even go as far as to say you might be certainly the best Libertarian Party Vice Presidential candidate speaker that I've ever met.
Well, let's put it this way. There's never been a Libertarian vice presidential candidate. All of them combined times 10, I don't think, have gotten the kind of press and publicity that Bob and I have gotten for the last 8 weeks or so since the convention. It's been non-stop media coverage, and that could be why most Libertarians are happy with 0.5% of the vote, and we're polling at 6% or higher nationwide.
That's
not in one
fantastic.
state, nationwide. And in individual states, Dan, we're actually polling in the double digits in some states, 10% in New Hampshire, 9% in my home state of Nevada, 8% in Colorado. So, we really are making a dent in the national political scene, and I think that, this is just a small start. Wait till you see what we do if we get ourselves in the presidential and vice presidential debates.
Good, excellent points, well said as well. Fortunately, we only got about 3 minutes, Wayne. I wanted to, before I let you go, because obviously the most important thing is your vice presidential candidacy, but I did at least want to ask you a couple of questions, since you are considered the king of Vegas. And so my listeners are looking for a little bit of free advice from the king on this upcoming NFL season, in particular my favorite team, the New England Patriots.
Well, the best thing I can say is don't aim too high. I'll tell you why I say that. I don't mean as far as how many games New England will win, because we all know they'll have a good season. We know that Belichick always has a good season. But I mean as far as covering the point spread, which is the business that I'm in. I'm basically nothing more than an investment banker or a hedge fund manager, except my choice of investment activity isn't IBM or Microsoft. It's the New England Patriots and the New York Jets. I'm a guy who tells you who's going to win, who's going to lose, and helps you make money. And I've had 2 million clients since 1991, more than anyone in the history of this business. So I'm kind of the king of the industry of sports handicapping and odds making and prognosticating. And one of the great trends I've seen in my career, actually two of the great trends, involve the Super Bowl. One is you want to wager against every single week the team that won the Super Bowl, so that would make the New York Giants a great investment to wager against every week, except for week one. They tend to get up in week one and win a big one as the returning defending champion. But after that, it's all downhill, and the spread keeps getting bigger and bigger, and the value goes away for the Super Bowl champion. So you'd wager against a team like the New York Giants. Okay. And then as far as the New England Patriots, one of the other great trends that's consistently worked for 20 years is to look for the team that lost the Super Bowl to suffer a down year the following year. Most of the time, they don't even make the playoffs.
I noticed that. It's really a shocking statistic. I have seen that, but I think the Patriots are going to break that record too.
Well, I certainly think they'll make the playoffs. I don't think I have too much doubt about that. I don't think they're in a very strong conference. I do think you may be surprised at who I believe will be the team that gives them a run for their money this year. The
Buffalo Bills.
Buffalo Bills are a much, much improved team, and I think with their, with an improved defense and a good little offense, with Trent Edwards at quarterback, this team really could go places.
And their running back, the rookie of the year, pretty much.
Correct. So very good team, a lot of potential, a lot of possibilities for the Buffalo Bills. They should really give the New England Patriots a run for their money, but assume a wild card for the Buffalo Bills and assume the division championship for New England.
Yep.
But don't assume too much more, because the year after you lose the Super Bowl, you just don't have much left.
Well, it's on record right now. I think Brady, Belichick, and the boys are going to ramp it up and keep their focus, and they're going to win the Super Bowl this year. So we're going to have to check back with you a year from now, well, actually 8 months from now, and figure out who is correct on that one.
You got it, Dan.
In November, I hope to call you vice president, Wayne Allyn Root.
I'll be the only vice president in history that people like you call up and ask for advice on the football games and the point spreads. But,
that would be a wonderful thing.
As I leave today, let me give you the websites one more time. It's root4america.com, and it is Bob Barr, BARR 2008.com. And for those of you who are a little bit confused or worried that a guy from Vegas wants to be vice president of the United States, I'm very proud to be from the state that has zero state income tax, zero business tax, zero inheritance tax, among the lowest property taxes in the nation. Lots of freedom. And as I leave you, Dan, you know what the difference is between Vegas and Washington, D.C.?
What's that?
In Vegas, the drunks gamble with their own money.
Excellent.
That should make you secure about having me as vice president. You can only go up from the type of people that you've got in office in Washington, D.C. right now who waste your taxpayer money every day.
That's for sure. Thank you again, Wayne. You're correct.
Thanks, Dan. Bye-bye.
Made the great point. How can you go down from George W. Bush and Dick Cheney? I mean, these are the two worst presidents and vice presidents we've ever had in this country. I've been saying that since 2002. Anyway, we're going to have to leave today, but we'll be back with you next week. Thanks again for listening. LeftRightAndCorrect.com with Dan Belforti and friends.